Oh, if I had my life to live, I'd surely live it over. I'd only walk in brand new shoes, I'd just lay down in clover. I'd only work on Christmas morn, all the rest go sporting. I'd spend my days down by the creek, and every night go courting. Oh, honey from the honeycomb, water from the fountain, sugar from the sugar cane, the wild rose of the mountain. When I think of home, sweet home, my eyes grow kind of misty. Papa's singing gospel songs, Mama's sipping whiskey. Oh, whiskey from a white oak barrel sure does make good liquor. Well, it makes the night seem twice as bright and the days go by much quicker. Oh, honey from the honeycomb, water from the fountain, sugar from the sugar cane, the wild rose of the mountain. Well, if I had a new-made quilt, I'd fill it up with feathers. I'd take my Rosie by the hand and just
And we're back.
And we're back. Welcome to the Happy Hour Power Hour of Kentucky Gives Day. It's been a great day, hasn't it, Jordan?
Oh yeah, it's been a very lively day to say the least.
It has been a lively day,
Very
a
busy.
very full day. I was up till 3 a.m. last night,
Look at
and I'm
Corey
saying I'm just going strong right now. So
flexing on us real hard right
Yeah.
now. I've been making memes.
making memes.
They're coming out later, so everyone get ready.
Yeah, so Kentucky Gives Day is going well for Hyman Settlement School. So far, to at this point, we have raised $23,615, which has far exceeded our expectations to this point, I think.
Which is what our donors are always good at.
Yeah, you like to exceed our expectations and make us happy and blow us away. So we are hoping in this power hour to raise another $2,000, I'd say. Get up to 25. Can we get up to 25 in the next hour, you think?
Just 2,000? I think
You want to up them more?
Let's up it. You know
Yeah.
me, Corey. I'm a double down kind of guy.
Yeah. Stonks. Is that what you're investing in right now?
Yeah, stocks. Circuits are they're laughing at me because I said double down kind of guy.
Double down.
No one gets what I say.
I
It's
get it.
fine. See, Corey gets it. Corey gets it. It's fine.
KFC?
No, no.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Gambling.
Oh.
Yeah, you know.
I think we had this conversation before on a podcast. You said double down, and I thought you were talking about KFC.
I will also go on a limb for the double down at KFC. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Yeah. Yeah, we're let's say 27,000. If we can get 27,000 in the next hour, that would be awesome. Power hour. We won the first power hour this morning and got an extra prize on that, so that was good. Hopefully we can capitalize on the next one. I don't think we can win more than one technically, but we can. We know who the real
It's an
winners.
inside win.
It's an inside win.
Like
That's true.
For the glory, you know.
Yeah, for the glory. Yeah, so if perhaps maybe you didn't tune in this morning and you don't know what in the world is going on right now while we are live streaming, today is Kentucky Gives Day, which is a statewide day held every year for Kentucky nonprofits to raise money to continue our work, our life-changing work that we do. So the Settlement School participates in this every year, and normally every year we have some particular projects that we are raising funds for, and this year we are raising money for the James Still Cottage, which is a cottage on our campus that that James Steele lived in most of his time here. The author James Steele, if you're familiar with him.
And Lucy Furman.
The author of The Queer Women. And so we're looking to raise funds to renovate the James Steele Cottage and make that into a literary haven for our expansive writing community that we have here at the Settlement School, and make it a good inspirational place for people to stay and have some retreat time and all that good stuff. What else are we working on, Jordan?
We're working on a number of things, Corey. You caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. So we're also working on getting scholarships for kids in our dyslexia program so that they can get the reading and intervention services that they need.
Yeah, providing new opportunity through our Reading Corps program and also our traditional arts programs that we have going on, which will be featured highly this episode today. We're working on getting funds for our Pick and Bow programs, continuing those programs and Common Threads and all those sorts of fiber arts things that we do here at the Settlement School. So we have a little video that we are going to show every hour to further demonstrate what we're raising money for this year, so you can get a visual of what we're doing instead of listening to me and Jordan ramble.
Although we do know you love that.
And, well, we're in the video, so you just got to listen to us ramble again. So here we go.
Hey everyone, my name is Corey Terry.
And I'm Jordan Collins.
May 11th is a special day in Kentucky. It's Kentucky Gives Day, a statewide day set aside for Kentucky nonprofits to raise money to continue their life-changing work.
This year for Kentucky Gives Day, our focus here at Heinemann Settlement School is preserving and providing.
You may be familiar with notable author James Steele, who is also known as the Dean of Appalachian Literature. He wrote such books as River of Earth, the Wolf Pen Poems, China Berry, and The Run for the Albertas.
Mr. Steele was a longtime employee of the Heinemann Settlement School who helped found the Appalachian Writers Workshop and touched the lives of many Eastern Kentucky children and inspired a renaissance of Appalachian literature.
Well, I think that any Appalachian writer would think of James Steele's writing as really foundational. I mean, I don't think you can really understand Appalachian literature without knowing River of Earth, knowing James Steele's poetry. I know that reading James Steele's poetry hugely influenced my work. I wrote a whole novel in reaction to one of his poems. And I think that he was one of the first writers to really give us an identity, to really form what Appalachian literature is. So, I mean, he's one of the cornerstones. So we just can't underestimate how important he is to our literature.
For part of Mr. Steele's time here at the settlement, he lived in a small cottage here on campus that sits on the hill overlooking Heinemann. The cottage is one of the oldest structures that we have here on campus.
In its early days, it was used by Miss Lucy Furman, the author of Queer Women. Mr. Steele inherited this cottage from her and spent many of his days and nights there penning short stories and poems.
Mr. Mike Mullins, he said he would come here to the settlement school early in the morning, before daylight. He was the director, and he would come before daylight. He would sit in his office, and he would look out up on that hill where that little cottage is, and Mr. Steele's, and the light would be on up there early morning because Mr. Steele would be reading. He just loved to read. He'd lay in bed and read. He's an avid reader. And so that made him a great writer because he was well versed in so many subjects. He read everything right up there on that hill.
For this Kentucky Gives Day, the settlement is seeking to preserve the legacy of this historic property, creating a living library seated with Mr. Steele's extensive book collection, and provide an inspirational haven for writers to reflect on and refine their works.
This will ensure that Mr. Steele's legacy is honored, continuing to be a source of inspiration and admiration for both the writers and readers of this region and abroad for years to come.
For any writer to be able to stay in the place where he spent so much time and still contains his creative spirit is, of great value. I've been lucky to stay at James Steele's cottage before, and just to know that such great work was composed there, and to look out on the same views he looked out on, and to walk that same walk down the mountainside that he walked down that little path, and things like that made me a better rider. It gave my riding more energy during that time I was there. So I think it'd be an incredible place for a rider to stay.
Mr. Steele, there's so many years, and he helped with, he's got the reading program named after him. He read to the dyslexic children, and he went through the county reading his poems and short stories. And it was such an integral part of the settlement school for so many years. So we're trying to keep that spirit alive in that little cottage on the hill where Lucy Furman and James Steele lived, right here at the Hyman Settlement School. Please donate. Keep it alive.
Since 1902, Hyman Settlement School has been at the forefront of meeting the changing needs of Central Appalachia. In 2020, the Settlement School expanded our educational offerings with the Reading Corps program, providing much-needed services to children struggling to read in Knott, Perry, and Leslie counties.
Additionally, we are continuing to provide new and exciting opportunities for students to explore the traditional arts of the region through our Pick and Bowl program and the Common Threads program. More than 90% of children receive financial assistance to participate in our Dyslexia Summer program, after-school music and arts, and weekly tutoring. As the size of our program grows, as does the need for scholarship support for children with dyslexia or dyslexic characteristics.
Gifts of any size will immediately be put to work providing new opportunities to learn an instrument, explore their creativity through fiber and visual arts, and educational support for children at risk of reading failure. Please join us this Kentucky Gives Day by making a donation to the Hyman Settlement School so we can continue to change lives and celebrate the culture of Appalachia.
Thank you for your continued support and care for not only the school, but the people we serve.
And yeah, so if you are interested in donating to the Hyman Settlement School this Kentucky Gives Day to support these programs, please go to www.hyman.org/KYGives, and you can make your donation there. You can also feel free to send checks or any other means that you would like if you don't want to go through the credit card route on Kentucky Gives. I think we can make it count into the total on there.
No idea.
I don't know.
Not my department.
Maybe not, but yeah. If you are interested in donating, please go there. Let me see if I can pull this up. Wanted to give some shout outs to the people that have donated thus far.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I had this up, but it was not.
It's okay. We're live. This adds authenticity. You know what? I'm not going to say it because I can't say it. So just going to roll with it.
Yeah, so.
Authenticity. It's an intense and authentic.
Just going to pull some names off the list here of people who have donated thus far. We got Susie Merida, Teresa Ramey, who is our employee here. Let's see here. Nancy Terry and Bob and Gail Young made a donation. George Fletcher, Linda Conrad, and Kimberly Hudson, to name a few people who have made a donation. We also want to recognize the Louisa St. Clair chapter, who made a donation via check earlier. They called us and let us know there. We got a good, exciting hour for you today. We're gonna have some music, aren't we, Jordan?
Oh yeah, gonna have some tunes.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So we got with us, first we got Miss Sarah Kate Morgan with us right now, our traditional arts director, and she's going to kind of help us lead through this and play some songs. Sarah Kate, who else do we got with us?
We've got two of our wonderful Pick and Bow Mountain Music Education Program instructors, Mr. Scott Napier and Lauren Napier. They are good friends of the Settlement School, and they've been wonderful, enthusiastic, and dedicated and caring Pick and Bow instructors for about 2 years now.
Awesome. Thank you all for coming and joining us today. And I think we're going to play a little tune first. Is that right? Okay. We only have 4 mic inputs on this thing, so I gotta take a brief moment to switch out the mic cables, and we'll get going.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to play a little tune for you called Soldier's Joy.
Soldier's Joy of Giving.
Yeah.
Soldiers, the joy of giving.
We know.
You ready for us? It's good to pick with people.
Definitely.
Oh, yes, a lot of fun.
Too long.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, me and Corey have our voices back now.
I got pinched. Yeah, people are enjoying it in the comments. Arlene Polner said they are having some fun.
We got one from Becky Elam. She said, Arlene, the students of Knott County area are blessed with some loving, caring teachers. So that's you guys.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, Scott and Lauren are instructors in our pick and bow program, and you can see why. They're pretty stinking awesome on their instruments. So I guess we can start off by asking what got you involved with the pick and bow program, and how did that come to be?
Well, I'll first start by saying I'm from Hazard, Kentucky, so I spent a lot of time in my life, and not only Hazard, but near Knott County, down on Troublesome Creek. So I spent a lot of time growing up in this area, attracted with history, Kentucky history, and the music from the start. I was spending a lot of time down at the settlement school and the log cabins everywhere, and the whole James Steele and the image of Appalachia just grabbed me as a child. So I'm proud of the fact that it's become full circle. I'm now a teacher to those children. Hopefully a couple of them were like me, grasping for knowledge of traditional Appalachian music. So I'm just tickled pink to be a part of the settlement school. And this is our second year, I think, involved. I was asked by the last director, Sam Gleaves, to help out temporary or find students who could help. And I'm like, hey, I want to do this. And then we gathered a small panel of pickers and musicians, and my wife, Lauren Price Napier, made it available for her to come in and join in. So we're tickled about that.
Yeah. We'll see if this thing doesn't hit me in the face.
It very well could.
Yeah, you just gotta watch it when there's no mic on it. It's a jawbreaker.
No, I directly involved with pick and bow my involvement came through my husband Scott, but I've been a musician. I grew up in a musical family, music lovers more than anything. We didn't have really a family band, but both of my parents sang, and my sister, I have a twin sister, and so we sing together a lot and play. So the mandolin is kind of my thing when I'm not singing with her. And Scott and I, we're husband and wife, like I said. So whenever Sam contacted him about teaching, they thought, maybe we could use an extra mandolin teacher. He's a mandolin player by trade, but he also does pretty well on the guitar, like you saw. So, we did that. I think we met with Sam in 2018, maybe in the fall, and then started teaching that following spring. It's been great.
Oh.
Awesome. And when did y'all get married?
September 2nd, 2018.
Ah.
Go see if you wanted to answer that one.
I think I was muted there. I would really wanted to come forth with that, but
Yeah, we seen you busting forward for that one.
Yeah.
also, since we're doing a brief bio, I mean, I'm a music professor at the Kentucky School of Bluegrass and Traditional Music, which is part of the Hazard Community College, and that just went all hand in hand. It's like not only I was teaching every day like mad at my work, and I just thought it was icing on the cake to get down to the younger students because I teach college level and some high school, but it's been so much fun working with the kiddos, as the teachers say, and also Sarah Kate, seeing her involvement and coming in the way she just took over, and won't get into the changes that occurred later, but it just kept it really fun. Yeah. And I'm just, like I said, proud to be a part of it with Sam, and then prior to Randy Wilson, who's a hero of mine. I love his work, and I think if we all could do that someday, we've made a mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
Randy's definitely a legend.
He is. Randy the legend. So what drew you all, I guess, to traditional music? I guess kind of what's your roots with that?
Well, like I said, I grew up in a family of music lovers. We didn't really grow up like in your typical bluegrass family band like a lot of kids have. But my mom and dad both sing, and our dad plays guitar. So I have a twin sister. So I remember when we were maybe 8 years old at school one day, we saw a flyer for a local talent show, and we brought it home and showed our mom and dad that, hey, we want to do this because we like to sing together. And so we really started singing together first and foremost, and that's really still what we do the most, and picked up our instruments a little bit later on. But our mom and dad were always very encouraging in that regard. As far as a career, I don't know if a lot of musicians are this way or not, but I think probably so. It's not really something that you plan out. I don't want to say aspire, that's the wrong word, but you really have a big plan that seems like tangible to be a musician as a career, because there's so many facets in which you can do that, whether you're touring or you're teaching or you're working just in an arts community. But it's nothing that I plan to do professionally necessarily, but it just happened that way. And because the more that we got into it, the more we realized we loved it, and seemed like if we did something else, it wouldn't really, not that it wouldn't work, but it wouldn't have as much purpose. I don't know. This just feels like it has a lot more purpose, because everybody has involvement in the arts in some way or shape. Even if you don't like bluegrass or old-time traditional music, you still enjoy music every day. So I think regardless of what your specific taste is, we can all connect in that regard, which I think is what's really important with settlement school. Because I know when I was that age, if the more programs like this that I would have seen looking back, how important that would have been then, just to see that opportunity. And Sarah Kate and I met in college, actually, at Morehead State University. We were both part of the traditional music program, so very cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's full circle then.
Yeah.
Full circle.
For me, what got me started was, like I mentioned earlier, being in the area, right in the middle of it without knowing. I wasn't from a musical family, so I found it, of all places, like WMMT, the Apple Shop. It was an encyclopedia of this music that I was attracted to on the radio. People like Rich Kirby, way back on Deep in Tradition, and I didn't look at it as that's old time, that's bluegrass, that's Celtic. I only knew it was acoustic and really old sounding and gritty, and I just something about it that appealed to me. So and I just dove in. So
Awesome.
So you've done some instruction with our pick and bow program. Sarah Kay can probably tell us a little bit about that later. But what's the hardest thing about teaching virtual? Remote.
It seems like such a simple answer, but I would say just for the fact that you cannot, be in front of that person and help them out. The hardest part for me has been keeping them encouraged, which a lot of them are very enthusiastic, but I know what it was like as a shy little kid to get frustrated, when you couldn't, something wasn't coming out of the instrument like you wanted it to hear. So it's hard just to make sure that they stay enthusiastic, and tuning has been a little bit difficult at times. If you don't know how to tune, I mean, everybody has to learn how to tune to play an instrument, but if you have no musical background in that regard, it doesn't make sense to you. Why twist those strings, and why is this note wrong and this note's right? So the virtual computer screen thing has been difficult in regards to tuning, I think. But no, I think it's not the same as being in person, but I'm very thankful for the virtual opportunities, because otherwise, like this past year, we wouldn't have been able to, connect in that regard at all. So.
Yeah, my little girl does pick and bow too, and from my experience, I see that.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah,
I love Chloe. Yeah.
She, I've seen, and like the tuning can take half the class sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Scott? What would you say?
Definitely tuning was the top of my list, but also the blending as a group with a timed clock. Because you want everyone to feel included and without singling out people too much. And sometimes, for good or bad reason, someone needs singled out a little more to get it, and you got to watch that, because then they become the one that's the example of, here's what you got to fix. And it's touchy, because I've primarily did one-on-one throughout my life as a teacher. And I throw the clock out the window. I'll do it for days. And it's harder to do that within a group in a timed format, to give them all what they want. And it's with any. I've never judged music as a competition or who's better or lean. In fact, I lean towards the ones that need more work. Because progress, it's all about the progress for me.
Everybody learns at their own pace.
Yeah, I'd rather have a total beginner who makes more progress than some really talented. And I'm back to my college speaking. Some really talented kid that knows it and just a slacker. I would trade that any day for one. And the pick and bow kids try so hard. It's just so rewarding. I love it. I love how hard they try.
I'm a slacker, I think, because Chloe actually tries to teach me little Eliza Jane or whatever, and I'm just like, I can't do this.
Some days are better than others.
Yeah, I'm not willing to try hard enough.
That's on fiddle too, ain't it?
No, she's doing ukulele now.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah, she transitioned.
I was about to say that fiddle.
I can't get a fiddle to work.
Yeah, like we couldn't figure it out. It just sounded
That's a
rough.
delicate touch.
So Sarah Kate, I probably should have started out this way, but I guess you could kind of tell us more about what pick and bow is and kind of how things have gone from your perspective as the director this year.
Sure. Well, our Pick and Bow Mountain Music Education Program, we provide free after-school music lessons on guitar and fiddle and mandolin and ukulele and banjo and dulcimer. This year we added mountain dulcimer and ukulele to the mix. That was the first time we'd done that. But it's open to any 4th through 12th grade student not in Floyd County. This year we were able to kind of even incorporate some students trickling in from Perry County as well as other counties, just because it's virtual. There's no reason not to include them. But yeah, upcoming in this next fall school year, if you have a young person in mind that goes to school in Nod or Floyd County, be sure to get in touch with us, and we'll connect them with some free music lessons. Yeah.
Awesome. we're having some issues hearing you, so we might bring it forward as close as you can. Sorry, her microphone is actually like in this random input that I don't think is meant to have a microphone attached to it, but it's working decently enough to make this happen. Our little podcast thing here is a little limited in what it can do, but it does good for the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 5 people here right now.
Yeah. 5 people. We got instruments going.
Double
So
mic. I think we've done.
we're getting the most we can out of this little baby.
Yeah.
You guys could
Pushing
totally
hard.
share a microphone. We could have an extra.
That is true.
Just saying.
We
I
could
don't
do
know if
that.
I want to be that close to Corey.
It's a little intimate.
Give you a little kiss on the cheek.
Yes, Becky. Chloe is my daughter, and she's awesome. Okay. I'm confused. I guess now would be a good time to go. You want to play another song? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah. Scott and Lauren are masterful duet musicians. They often post really cool mandolin duets, twin mandolin duets, and I wanted y'all to hear some. So take it away. I think y'all are going to play Golden Slippers.
That's right. I also like to say this all started with Bobby Osborne. Even though, like I said, Lauren and myself married and played quite a bit together.
Local, original.
Bobby's local as well, but we started with the Tremolo Tuesday thing I do at the school, which was a trio. So we keep that tradition alive until he comes back, and we do duets. This is, like Sarah mentioned, them Golden Slippers.
Duets in music and duets in life. Just life partner duets.
Hey, our instruments are small, but we have lots and tons of strings.
Yeah, we do.
I can't even fathom how that even works. Like, I don't understand. My fingers couldn't possibly do that.
By the time I get a mandolin tuned, I'm like, I gotta take
It's annoying.
Whew, okay.
Well,
That was awesome.
It's been a real pleasure having y'all in Pick and Bow. And you know, I'm relatively new to the settlement school in general, and so it's so nice to sort of come in and hang out with music teachers that y'all already had relationships built with these kids, and you know, it was so easy to come in and sort of just, you know, be teaching right along with y'all. And you know, talking about the challenges of this past year, like there's been, I think it's real easy to look at sort of the issues of teaching virtually in a negative light, because there's a lot. We're so used to being in person, but on the flip side of that, like I feel like last year the kids were just learning how to learn, like learning how to process information through Zoom. And this past semester with your students, I personally saw so much, even more growth in their musicianship. Last year was just sort of them processing how to be virtual students, and this year they knew what they were going in. They came in and did it, and I just saw so much growth this year. And it's easy to look at the downsides of doing virtual, but I think for a lot of kids that were like me growing up, very easily distracted by the world, I think having like that one-on-one attention, just like with a screen and you, was an unexpected, advantage of doing virtual. But I think next semester we'll end up having some virtual components as well as in person again. But I just wanted to ask y'all, if you, in your reflection on this past semester, if you could share with me any memorable moments from this past year of teaching. You want to go? Or any songs that you
I'll echo, Sarah, what you're saying. It was fun to watch the students learn with us because we were figuring it out as well. In fact, I've learned some music from the kids, which is always fun. It's a gateway for traditional music. A lot of times I'll find a student that's into country music or even heavy metal, like I was at one time.
I still am.
And say exactly like Brad Paisley is a good gateway for a country guy to get into bluegrass or whatever. So I ask them a lot about what they listen to find that segue, but also in some cases I become fans of their music. And that happened.
Absolutely.
That happened a lot. So it was cool to see them adapt while we were adapting, and the finale concert proves that it was a success, in my opinion.
Yeah, and those, not just these kids, but the kids in general that have had to do this past year, just virtual learning, they're tough, and they don't complain like I know a lot of adults complain, and I think that there's lessons to be learned there for sure. I had a few students at different times, and some of them kind of come and go, but I think it's important to try to just be encouraging while they're there. Even if they lose interest, I think it'll still be a good memory and that kind of thing. But I did have one really devoted student this past semester in particular. Her name was Tara, that I think you guys might talk about a little bit later. But she had no musical background at all, but she's very creative. She can draw, she's learning how to quilt and embroider. I mean, I was so impressed. She's really good at math, which really impressed me. But anyway, she wanted to play the mandolin, and she would learn a song a week or 2 songs a week. And even if she, didn't quite understand what it was all about at some point, she still got there, and we were able to build up on that kind of thing. And we did we worked with a certain set list that all the students were kind of working on, and Tara would usually get ahead, and that was totally fine because Tara's 16 maybe or something, so she's a quick learner. But one week I remember she asked me if I'd ever heard of a couple artists, and they were more country groups, and she said, well, what about Johnny Cash? And I said, I love Johnny Cash, and it doesn't have to be bluegrass or old time. It goes right along in there. And she's like, well, can we learn Ring of Fire? So we worked out Ring of Fire, and she really enjoyed it, and it was great. So I think that was great.
Speaking of types of music, my favorite pick and bow story to date is we were still in person at the elementary school. And this student was sizing me up. He wanted to know, what is that you're playing? What's the name of that song?
You're playing guitar, too.
I was playing guitar. I was playing fiddle tunes. What's the name of that? He didn't recognize it. What's that? And he was puzzled. And he confesses to tell me, he says, you can play Bible music on that guitar, too. I loved it. So I played a gospel song, and he was happy.
Yeah. I like that heathen music.
Exactly right.
Murder ballads.
Yeah.
Well, I think you bring up a good point that, even though we are really passionate about traditional music, and that's kind of our rough central focus, I think it's always good to keep in mind that some kids may not be a huge fan of bluegrass, and you know what? That's okay. You don't have to. It's important to meet them where they're at and get them excited about playing music in whatever way feels right to them, you know. And I love that. I remember you and Tara worked on "Here Comes the Sun," the Beatles song. And it
Gosh,
was just
yeah.
so pretty
How
to
could I
hear
forget
it.
about that?
And I think that's so important as music educators to not impose your goals onto your students, but meet them. And every single one of our pick and bow instructors have done that to an incredible extent.
That's I preach that exactly. I'm not interested in students to play just like me or like exactly what I like. My goal as a teacher is to not teach them creativity, but to guide them toward discovering their creativity, and that's it for me.
Well, our good friend Ron Penn, a good friend of the settlement school, he was talking to me the other day, and he said that he was describing what I did to someone else, and I loved how he described my job. He said he was like, she doesn't necessarily teach music, she teaches creativity.
Bam.
You know, and I love that you're teaching these kids how to live a creative life, how to incorporate creativity and music into their being. And if that means that in 10 years they may not play music anymore, that's okay. But in that season of their life, they
know it
had
means
a teacher
something.
that cared
I
about
recently had Raymond McLean tell me in a class we were sharing. I was in his class, and he said, He said, my role here is not necessarily to teach you how to be or to be a professional traditional musician. This is for the better quality of life. And that's exactly right.
Absolutely.
If I never made 1 cent ever as a musician, my quality of life would have been way better when I got a hold of this mandolin. So,
Yeah, and that's our goal with Pick and Bow, yeah. We've been talking about our students a lot, and if you want to go ahead and roll our little clip, typically under normal circumstances, we'd be having an end of the year semester concert, like in person, where grandma and grandpa and mom and dad and everybody else can be there. But this year we did something a little different. We had a spring semester and a fall semester pick and bow variety show, and we filmed it all via Zoom, and we had music as well as lots of other fun and baffling and interesting
Pet show and tells. That was
pet
a good
show
one.
and tells, regular show and tells, joke swaps, all kinds of fun things. So right now I think we're going to roll a clip of 2 of y'all students. I think I can't remember who's first, but Tara Tara Jade is our wonderful mandolin student, and then Riley Melton is one of Scott's wonderful students.
Here we go.
okay, guys. Now for a lead guitar version of the classic Wildwood Flower. How about it for Riley Melton? All right.
Okay, up next on the Pick and Bow Variety Show, it's been really fun to get to work with her this semester and last semester too. She's done really well on the mandolin, as well as she's done some embroidery and some very cool stuff. Very talented young lady. This is Tara.
Okay, guys. Now for a lead.
All right, so that was a little a snippet of our Pick and Bow program and the variety show that Sarah Kate puts on. That's always a wonderful YouTube or a Facebook experience for you to tune in on.
Oh yeah.
I think that probably gets more views and engagement than anything we've ever
course it does.
posted.
Oh yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
Jokes
so.
and kids and cute puppy dogs. What more do you want? I was going to mention that Riley Melton is going to be a featured performer at the Berea College Celebration of Traditional Music coming up this fall, I believe in November.
Oh, wow.
So we're real excited if he's going to be a representation of Heinemann Settlement School. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We'd love to see it.
So what would you all say has been your most rewarding aspect of working in the Pick and Bow program?
For me, it's totally giving back. Like I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, I was one of those kids here in the neighborhood that would come down, and I had the James Steele books, way down yonder on Troublesome Creek. I had him sign it here one time. I still have it. Oh, wow. Yeah, and I'll never be a James Steele, but if hopefully I'm looked at as that type of Randy Wilson, James Steele figure for the kids. That would be the best compliment ever. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds cliche, but I just like seeing the kids enjoy themselves, whether, like Sarah Kate said, whether they could go on and continue to learn and play music 10 years or, later in the future or not. I think that's the big thing about music and any other form of art making in general. It's something that you can do in some shape or fashion as long as you live, literally. I mean, not that sports aren't important, but you probably won't be able to go play basketball when you're 80. But if you're still alive, Lord willing, and your hands are in good shape, you can play an instrument. Or sing, yeah, or draw a picture. I mean, it's, the arts are so varied. And seeing that, I know looking back, like when I was a kid, my parents always encouraged my sister and I to play and sing if we wanted to. They didn't push us in it to where, it felt like a chore or something. But I know and I'm from Southeast Ohio, so still in the Appalachian region, and there were a lot of people that loved this kind of music, but there was not as much as what there is here in Kentucky. So from my experience, I can see how much that would have meant to me to, for there to have been a program like this when I was growing up. So I really am glad to be part of that for other kids, and just seeing them enjoy themselves, like we said, whether it's bluegrass music or Johnny Cash or the Beatles. I think it just gives them a really good moment of their day, regardless. So that's nice.
So, you do a lot of work with us. So we're just, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you, why should someone support Hyman Settlement School?
Oh, well, that just like I just said, I know how important that would have been for me as a kid if there was a program like that available to me. Pick and Bow, especially, but the Hyman Settlement School in general, I didn't know so much about it because I'm not from the region until I moved here. But I just think this is so cool. And they do quilt programs and things like that, and, traditional food arts. It's great. And it's, there's activities here that people of all ages can enjoy. Families can come together and have family time doing things that are important. So we need this stuff preserved and passed on to future generations. And without facilities like this, it wouldn't happen. So donate because it is important. I don't know if that was a really good answer, but that's what I think.
Yes, and
Spot on.
yes, and the raising money for the James Steele Cottage. Wow, that's so important. Again, he that along with one of a very few things as a child that awoke the artist in me for sure. James Steele, Randy Wilson, the Apple Shop, Marion Sumner. I mean, I could just count them on one hand. The Stanley Brothers, but and the Hyman Settlement School, right in the middle of it. It's a historic place, and it means a lot to me. And a lot of travelers that come here. I remember seeing Gene Ritchie here many times perform in the room across the way. Art Stamper, have such wonderful memories that involve this place. And I know a lot of people from faraway lands who come here who feel the same way. So please donate, and not just about the music, but we're here because you donate, So that's very important.
Absolutely.
You guys had some phenomenal answers to that. I'm sure it's inspired a lot of our donors to donate. And we try to be that central point in Appalachia where we can kind of inspire people to do the same things that those have done before them.
Preserving history, preserving our culture.
Absolutely. So I like to do a little thing, lightning round questions. So I'm just going to throw these at you, just quick answers.
This is when he asks you really weird questions.
Yeah, most of the time they're just completely off the wall, which is what I go for most of the time. So if you could be any type of instrument, what type of instrument would you be and why?
The mandolin, because it's heaven on earth.
Solid answer.
Do you mean like, yeah, see, I'm the overthinker and not the spontaneous one between the two of us. Like, do you mean like category family of instruments, like the brass family or the string family? Or
I want to know
See?
one instrument.
One instrument.
Overall.
Okay. Oh, gosh. Guitar, I think, is most universal. Acoustic guitar. Electric guitars are great, but acoustic guitars are very adaptable and, friendly to lots of musical tastes. Or piano. I like
In regards to my answer, Bill Monroe probably would have said the fiddle. So it's okay that if you chose another instrument.
That's a good answer too. Yeah.
So you want to hit another
I'm
one,
not good
Corey?
at lightning rounds.
The last one's not weird. It's a general question. So, what do you all like to do in your free time when not playing music?
I like to draw, and my sister is a really good artist. But I like to draw, and lately, be outside, take walks, that kind of thing. I love to be outside. I've always loved the country. Lately, it's turned into spay and neuter cats. we kind of adopted, which I love animals anyway, but we adopted a stray colony in Hayden where we live, and myself and another lady kind of take care of them. So I've really gotten on the train of get your pets fixed because
But you don't actually spay and neuter them yourself.
I don't do it, no, but I transport them to the vet. So yeah.
So you're
If I
like,
start singing like Bill Monroe someday, you know what happened.
Scott.
so you're like the Bob Barker of Wesley County, right?
Or Lynn Morris in Bluegrass. Lynn Morris had a bonus track on one of her albums that was spay and neuter your pets.
right.
Yeah, so we could start doing that
her.
one. Very important.
We should have composed it. We're gonna do a spay and neuter your pets plug right now. So spay and neuter your pets,
Yeah.
please and thank you.
We'll record a commercial to put on the podcast.
I would really prefer not to record another commercial. That last one.
You don't have to be in it. We'll film her.
Yes, great, love it.
All right, so we thank you all so much for coming on today and talking to us about the Pick and Bow program and our traditional arts. Doing amazing work. I know for my daughter, it's been awesome watching her learn and really just blown away by how much she's learned and grown in that. So we got one more song we're going to play.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us, Scott and Lauren. As the traditional arts education director, it's such an honor to be able to teach alongside you and learn from y'all and learn with you and yeah, it's just so nice to be able to spend the afternoon with y'all.
I mean, I want to say
Likewise.
I'm a fan of your music.
Oh my gosh, I'm a fan
So
of yours
no,
too,
I mean
Oh,
it, seriously.
yeah.
So to work with you and it's great. It's been nothing but fun and I hope to do more. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks for having
what are we
us.
gonna leave us with, Lauren?
I guess let's do keep on the sunny side. The sun's out today. Finally, it might be summer before we know it, hopefully. That's one of the first songs that my sister and I actually learned to sing together, was this one. And usually I sing harmony on it, not lead, but we'll try lead today. But it's a good old number that comes from the Carter family called Keep on the Sunny Side. There's a dark and a troubled side of life, but there's a bright and a sunny side too. Though you meet with the darkness and strife, the sunny side you also view. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way. If we'll keep on the sunny side of life.
Good job, ladies.
Thank y'all so much for singing and playing and picking with us.
Well, thanks for having us.
great to
Thank
be
y'all
here.
for joining us for the live stream.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Those of you we can't see, we appreciate you.
We can't see them, but we can see their comments. George Fletcher said he loves this song. Becky Elam says, I think future podcasts need to be live. This is fun. That's a tall order, Becky.
Yeah. It was, we really.
Becky's a fellow dulcimer player.
Yeah. Yeah, she also commented, said, I have a beautiful 95-year-old lady in my group that plays amazing dulcimer. She's my inspiration. So, checking back in on our Kentucky Gives Day dashboard here. So far, we started out on this hour. We had raised $23,615. We are now up to $25,090. So we didn't make that $27,000, the double down.
That's okay.
But we did make the 25 that I originally called for.
Usually when I double down, I do lose.
That's usually how it works. So we appreciate you all so much for donating and supporting us. We hope that you've enjoyed this live stream and get to some more donors that have donated in the past hour. We got Sharon Withers, Lisa Buckley, Chrissy Anderson Peters. She says, I'm proud to donate to the renovation of the James Steele Cottage. Janet Lake, Kayla Thacker, and Leslie Dimling.
And Vicky Froelic's on there.
Oh, yeah, Vicky Froelich. So we thank you all so much for donating to the Settlement School. And I appreciate you for tuning in for this live stream for the past hour with us. And we'll be back again tonight.
Yeah.
The late night.
Late night Hyman cast.
Yeah. And we were going to have a guest, but I'm not sure that's going to follow through. So you might just be listening to me and Jordan and Josh and maybe Sarah Kate fucking Fencer just rambling and partying. Because I think we're going to make it into a nighttime party.
Oh, we're going to have pizza and pop and stay up too late. It's going to be great.
Yeah. We're going to see. We'll be with you in the late night hour tonight. So please come join us again for that. And to close us out, here is a video of Miss Carol Rogow, the Kentucky State Regent of the DAR, and she's going to tell you why she donates to the Hyman Settlement School. Thank you all again for tuning in.
Hyman Settlement School is a special place. Not only is it located in a beautiful region, the mountains of eastern Kentucky on Troublesome Creek, but it has its own enduring charm. Its history contributes to its charm. After working in the eastern Kentucky mountains 3 summers, May Stone was approached by a man who asked her to start a school for his children. May Stone and Catherine Pettit did just that. In 1902, they started Hyman Settlement School, the first rural settlement school in America. It has been a beacon of education for students, their families, and the region since that time. Through the years, its methods may have changed, but its mission remains the same: to provide educational opportunities and services to those who need it the most. Several years ago, I had the opportunity to attend Hyman's summer school graduation. The children were so excited. They had achieved beyond their dreams. They felt pride in their accomplishments. They felt like worthy human beings. They were ready to move forward to the next level on their journey to become productive citizens. That's why my husband and I donate to Hyman Settlement School, and I hope you will too.